everyone, good morning. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and this is our editorial analysis. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to everyone. Very good morning. How are you guys today? Hi Satya, Sakhi, Achal, Ashmita, Simrela. Can you hear and see me clearly, everyone? Good morning. If you could quickly confirm that. Hi Iram. Hi Nikita. Yes, clearly visible and audible. Okay, so 25th of May, CLAT coming even closer and closer. I'm absolutely good. I hope all of you are doing great as well. What have I brought today? I have brought two articles. One is from, मुझे याद ही नहीं है क्या sources हैं. I don't remember the sources. I browsed through so many articles. One is from the Hindu, yeah. One is from the Hindu and the other is from the Guardian. So these are the two articles that I've bought. और दोनों ही बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग पर्सपेक्टिव के साथ है. गार्डियन का आर्टिकल यू कैन एक्चुअली गेस व्हाट द टॉपिक वुड बी. कैन यू गेस? यूजुअली गार्डियन टॉक्स अबाउट one thing a lot. Can you guess what the article is about? श्वेता, ये बहुत सारी चीजों पे डिपेंडेंट होता है. I'll answer Shweta's question because 99% of you will have this in your mind. Ma'am, what if I don't get into the top 10 NLUs? Should I take the lower NLUs? Is it worth it? Yes, you guys are correct. It is about environment, but a different perspective than the regular ones. It's about environment. You guys are correct, but it's not climate change, okay? It's a little related. Back to the question, Shweta's question. देखो, सब कुछ इंडिविजुअल पे डिपेंड करता है. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन यू कि आप क्या चाहते हो. बहुत सारे वेरिएबल्स पे डिपेंडेंट है. क्या आप ओके हो ड्रॉप करने के साथ? क्या आपको शादी करने की जल्दी है? जोक्स अपार्ट, यू डोंट वांट टू ड्रॉप अ ईयर. क्या आप ओके हो किसी भी कॉलेज के साथ, या आपको सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक टॉप एनएलयू ही चाहिए? नहीं मिलेगा तो आप ड्रॉप कर लोगे एक साल. आप, एंड प्लीज डोंट माइंड दिस, आपका फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस भी, आपके पेरेंट्स क्या सोचते हैं वो भी. सो आपका डिसीजन, इज इट वर्थ इट टू टेक द लोअर एनएलयूज? इट डिपेंड्स ऑन दीज आंसर्स. Is this the right time to think about that? No, it isn't. The right time to think about it will be once the results are out. Before that, don't bother yourself with what is going to happen. सब बढ़िया होगा जो होगा. मेहनत करो, आज नहीं तो कल आपको उसका रिजल्ट बिल्कुल मिलेगा, बट मेहनत से नहीं भागना है. The one who is hardworking will be paid off in some way or the other. So this is not the right time. नहीं तनु, ये मजाक नहीं है बच्चे, ये बहुत सब बच्चों पे डिपेंडेंट होता है. मैंने 11 साल क्लैट के स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाया है. सो आई मेट अ वैरायटी ऑफ किड्स. सब तरीके के बच्चों को पढ़ाया मैंने. सबके अलग पर्सपेक्टिव होते हैं और सबकी अलग प्रायोरिटीज होती हैं. समटाइम्स द पेरेंट्स आरंट हैप्पी. दे से बीबीए कर लो, डीयू चले जाओ, सीयूईटी दे दो. ओके, so we'll think about this after the results are out. Right now we don't have to fuss about that. Okay, मैं मेलेट के फॉर्म फिल करूं या नहीं? गुलशन, बिल्कुल करो, बिल्कुल करो. क्या बात कर रहे हो? तुमको तो करना ही चाहिए. मैंने तुम्हें पढ़ाया. आई नो योर कैलिबर. बिल्कुल फिल करो. मिस, आई एम ट्रबलिंग विद पैसेजेस ऑफ साइंस, हाउ टू गेन. अली, 3 आर्टिकल चूज करो एऑन से ऑन साइंस. रीड दैट इन डिटेल. यू विल बी इन अ बेटर पोजिशन. बिल्कुल तनु. सो इसलिए क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए. अच्छा, ओके. नहीं, then there are some people who have found the love of their lives and they don't want to waste even a single year to get married. ये उनके लिए था. I'm unable to skim and scan the passage. Jayaprakash, did you see my class on how to read effectively in the last lab to CLAT? You will find your answers there. Okay? If all of you guys, if you haven't seen that class, please देख लेना उस class को. Okay. Yes, Movies, you can. And the last question, Karthik, आपका question सिर्फ और सिर्फ निवेदिता मैम या शुरुजीत सर आंसर करेंगे. I will choose not to answer that. Okay. All right, चलिए. और अभी और भी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आ रहे होंगे माइंड में. I'll put a full stop. प्रज्ञा, क्या क्वेश्चन था आपका भी ले लेते हैं एक बार. प्रज्ञा, मेहनत ही तो नहीं होती. मेहनत ही नहीं होती. बच्चे, इसका मेरे पास कोई आंसर नहीं है. इसका कोई शॉर्टकट भी नहीं है. मेहनत तो करनी पड़ेगी. You don't have a shortcut. You're sitting for a competitive examination. मेहनत करो. Okay, you don't have a choice. The guardian's view on children's social care. Yes. That's a very good article, though I haven't taken that article. Okay, and देखो, one last question मैं answer कर रही हूँ, because otherwise we'll just go on and on. Happy birthday, Prachi. Wish you a very happy birthday. May God bless you with all the happiness and all the success in your life. And may you achieve the best of everything. Okay. एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन आंसर करती हूँ. क्राइस्ट वर्थ है कि नहीं, ये XYZ वर्थ है कि नहीं, ABC वर्थ है कि नहीं. वर्थ भी बहुत सारी वेरिएबल्स पे डिपेंडेंट होता है. प्लीज फिल आउट एज मेनी फॉर्म्स एज पॉसिबल, एज मेनी फॉर्म्स एज योर फाइनेंशियल कैपेबिलिटी अलाउज यू टू. Analyze the fees of each individual college. Fill out forms. And once we have the results out, we can decide which college to go to and which not to. We can discuss about that. I'll give you a one-to-one session. Happy? But अभी सिर्फ फोकस करो, फॉर्म्स फिल करो और मेहनत करो और एग्जाम पास करो. यही करना है आपको अभी. ओके, चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. Everyone who hasn't seen my class on how to read effectively on last lab to CLAT, it happened last week, Thursday. Please find that class. Please watch it. If you have doubts about how to read effectively and skim and scan, your questions will be answered. I cannot take any more questions. I hope you understand. I'll take more questions towards the end of the class. I'll be there for 5 more minutes. Back to the article. So let's start with the vocabulary. We don't have a lot of vocabulary. We have only 2 slides here. Okay. So let's read the words. Slide number 1. A hiatus is usually a pause, a break that you take. Okay. So regularly drive kar rahe ho, ek break le liya, that's a hiatus. There was a brief hiatus in the war with France. I don't think that has ever happened. Okay, so it's basically a pause or a break that you take. Okay, the next word is herald. Heralded is something that you it's a prediction of something or an omen, a sign that something is about to happen. That's heralded. They considered the first primroses as the herald of the spring. So the first flowers appeared, and that was the sign that spring has officially started. The spring is about to happen. That's heralded. Okay, so that's तनु क्या क्वेश्चन है बच्चे? क्लास के एंड में बता दूंगी, प्रॉमिस. ओके, प्रॉमिस. चलिए. So sabbatical, yes, Supriya, that's a related word to hiatus. It is. Symbol for heralded is correct. Harbinger, yes, Mahi. Harbinger, exactly. Goat is an exact synonym to herald. Prediction. Okay. Next word, ubiquity. It's everywhere. It's omnipresent. It's just seen everywhere. Is ubiquity. The ubiquity of mobile phones means that you don't really need a watch. Yes, we don't wear watches anymore because we see mobile phones with times. So ubiquity is it's present everywhere. Everyone has mobile phones. Actually, everybody has mobile phones now. So that's unless and until you're in schools and you're not allowed to have a phone, or you were caught doing something that your parents were unhappy about. Ubiquity is present everywhere. I hope you get this, everyone. Yes, Rohan, that means prediction. Correct. Omnipresent. Yeah. Envisage for heralded ho sakta hai related word. Yeah. Omnipresent is ubiquity. Pervasive. Yes, Anushka. Very good. Very, very good. Pervasive as well is a synonym to it. Trills. Trills are sounds, fluctuating sounds, not constant, but usually insects, they make trilling sounds. Birds make trilling sounds. A skylark was trilling overhead, so it was making vibrating kind of sounds. That's trill. Anecdote. We've done this word a lot of times in our paid batches, if you remember. Anecdote is a short reaccounting of something that has happened, a recollection of something that has happened. It's usually short in an amusing one. जैसे चाय पे बैठते हैं तो बातें करते कोई कहानी याद आती तो आपको मैं कहानी सुनाती हूँ. So that's an anecdote, a short story, amusing story of something which has happened with you already. या किसी और person के बारे में is an anecdote. He told anecdotes about his job. उसके job में कुछ funny हुआ तो instances बताने लग गया वो. That's anecdote. Chirping related हो गया. Chirping थोड़ा soothing हो गया. Trilling is the cricket sound. Yes. Short story is an anecdote. Correct. So that's our first slide. I hope you are done with the words. I hope there are no doubts. Take a screenshot very quickly, everyone. Next page. Here we go. Page number 2. Ominously, bad omen. कि कुछ खराब होने वाला है. It's a negative sign of something bad is about to happen. Thunderclouds loomed ominously overhead. There's going to be a cyclone maybe, or a bad thunder with bad showers. That's the meaning of ominous here. A hint that something bad is about to happen in the future. An omen is a related word. Wailing for trill is a related one. Trill mahi is a sound. Usually birds करती हैं वो sound. बहुत soothing sound नहीं होता है, एक vibrating sound जैसा होता है. Okay, that's trilling. All right. ठीक है, आगे next word देखते हैं. Ominously आ गया समझ में? Cassandra, yes, related word है. Next, peril. Looming is a synonym to it. Perils are immediately कुछ dangerous होने वाला है. आप सोच रहे हैं मैम आर्टिकल लेने क्या वाली हो? Ominously, heralded, perils. भैया क्या होने वाला है ऐसा? We could well place us both in peril, in imminent danger. Imminent is about to happen. होने ही वाला है. A serious situation is about to happen. A serious dangerous situation is about to happen. Is we are in perils. Augur for ominously. Yes, augur बिल्कुल correct है माही. बिल्कुल correct है. Morose, gloomy, apocalyptic are related words. Arshia to ominously. Okay, threat for peril. Menace is a related word to peril. Yes, Napya, they are. Hazards as well. Yes. Moment in the sun. That's a phrase. Okay, let's understand the phrase. When you have a moment in the sun, you have a very popular time. You have the best time of your life, which is usually not a very long one, but that's the best time of your lives. Organic foods are having their moment in the sun. Everybody's organic food is a fad these days. Everybody's very obsessed with finding and buying everything organic. But आपको पता है हमारी कंट्री में organic tag मिलना कितना it's very corrupted. So anyone and everyone can use the word organic, even if you are not organic. अभी laws थोड़े stringent नहीं हुए हैं. So having the moment in the sun is having the best time of your lives. Sinister is peril. Yes. Danger, pitfall is, yeah. Peak of someone, go to correct, is a moment in the sun. Spotlight is a moment in the sun. It is. Menace is for peril. Momentary success is for a moment in the sun. It is. A momentary popularity also is Sakhi. Yes, a flash in the pan. Correct. That's momentary. Correct, Belinda. Absolutely. Then we have lugging, like luggage. You link it to luggage, you'll be able to memorize the word. So lugging is when you're dragging something on your shoulders, not necessarily physically, but mentally as well, with a lot of effort. Bas kheech rahe ho is lugging. She began to lug her suitcase down the stairs. She was dragging it with a lot of effort. That was physical dragging. But you could be lugging something imaginary as well. Something that's there in your head as well. Lugging through the life, or maybe just lugging the day. Just dragging it and pulling it with a lot of effort is lugging. The last, we've done this word. So that is all for this slide. Slide number 2. Jaldi screenshot ले लो सब लोग. Slugging बोल सकते हो बिल्कुल. bearing down, tugging, carrying, lift. Yeah. Zenith Samat, moment in the sun का related हुआ. Is it Simrella? Pushing, lugging, pain, dragging, towing, propelling. Yes, Arshia. All. Okay. What's the meaning of the word mayhem? Bhavya wants to know, what does the word mayhem mean? What does it mean? Who's going to tell me? What does mayhem mean? ये आया कहाँ से word? Okay, I read you. I can read you, Bhavya. I can. What does it mean? What does the word mayhem mean? Anyone? Yes, yes. Chaotic situation. Confusion is mayhem. Correct. Pandemonium. Chaos. That's mayhem. Correct. Okay. Now let's move on to our articles, everyone. There are many things that you have to infer through the articles. But before that, if you're targeting CLAT 2023, that's the December CLAT, a comprehensive combo course has been launched. Jaldi se enroll kar lo, because the sooner you start, the better it is going to be for you. Speak to our counselors right away to know more about the program. This article has a lot to infer. I'll give you 1 minute. Read the page and send me a done when you're done. You will love this article. दोनों क्लास के एंड में. Done? Okay. You know the article is about birds. Yes. And there are a few very beautiful lines. हम अपनी country से link करके we can understand that. When the cuckoo starts singing, we know it's mango season, and we also know summers have arrived. Yes, we know that. Similarly, there are the swifts, these birds who also arrive in summers. And birds, they travel a lot. They migrate. We see a lot of migratory birds coming to our country when the other countries get colder. And then there are situations when we don't see these birds coming in our country, and we are worried. Why are we worried when the migratory birds don't arrive either in the expected number or during the expected time? What is the reason for our worry? What could that be? Why are we worried now? If a migratory bird does not arrive in time, ये देखो अली ने पहले क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया और किसने आंसर कर दिया? बेलिंदा ने. I wanted to ask that question actually, but कोई बात नहीं, since you've already asked it, we know the answer. But tell me, why are we worried with the birds, migratory birds, either not arriving in time or their arrival is delayed? The ecological environment of our place is suitable or disturbed, yes, or maybe because they are endangered. Either there's climate change or maybe the birds are endangered. It's a disturbance in the ecosystem. Yes. So disturbance in the ecosystem could be these birds, and the number that's left is few, or it could be because of the heating up. Because the place where they had to arrive, it was warmer or colder than they had expected it to be. So it could be that they're disappearing or the climate change. That's a reason for our worry. And then he tries to explain this. Many birds have entered the list of being endangered, like the cuckoo and the swift. That's explained in the first paragraph. Billions of birds are disappearing. Birds truly are the canary in the coal mine. That's actually a metaphor. How are birds the canary also is a bird? But how are all the birds the canary in the coal mine? What does that mean? So Belinda already answered that. Others, can you give this a try? Canary in the coal mine? It's a metaphor. Okay? Yes, indication of the health of the planet that the birds are in danger. Yes. Potential danger, bad omen. Correct. Absolutely correct. Now, that's a story. Why is canary used in coal mines and what's the entire story? Yes, and a sign of a danger about to happen that's looming. Absolutely correct. Let's read about the story of the canary in the coal mine. Let's see why is this phrase used. But we know that it is an indicator of the health of our planet. If the birds don't arrive in time, the health of our planet is disturbed. It's deteriorating. And given the sensitivity to ecosystem changes, their ubiquity around the planet and how well studied they are. Of course, birds ornithology is a science that has been extensively studied. We know about the movement of birds. We know birds are everywhere. When sparrows started disappearing in our country, they became endangered. It was worrisome, right? Do you see sparrows in your city? Sparrows, chidiya, choti wali. Do you see sparrows in your city, everyone? Bangalore, I don't see any. Back in Jaipur, there were very, very few. But I'd like to know. Exactly, Belinda, that's the story. Yes, you do. Very less in number. Very, very less. No, Rohan, this is an extract. This is not an unseen passage. This is an extract from The Guardian. Rohan, first time आया मेरी class में लगता है. No, you don't. Oh, that's lovely. I'm not referring to pigeons, remember. Don't be mistaken. I'm not referring to pigeons. Pigeons are everywhere. And that's one of the reasons why sparrows are few in number. Because pigeons are stronger than sparrows are and they eat up their food as well. So, back to it. So, we know that if the birds aren't visible, if there's something dangerous. Back to it. Read this page and send me a done. You'll understand the phrase canary in the coal mine. Yes, Anushka, same here. Yeah, maybe that's why Purva. Ubiquity, अभी बताया था बच्चे स्तुति in the beginning of the class. Prachi, Prachi, I'll answer your question. Let's first do this paragraph, okay? Then I'll answer your question. Yes, yes, Shriya. Exactly. What a beautiful line. Maya Angelou could have done that. Absolutely. None other than this person could have said this. So I'm sure you now understand the phrase canary in the coal mine and why was it used. But now the origin is old. We don't use canaries in the coal mine to predict the gaseous and the harmful fumes coming out. We don't use that anymore. We use it as idioms now. Idioms that, okay, if they sing or if they trill, then something's bad that's about to happen very, very soon. These caged birds, they sing with a fearful trill of things unknown, like the canary would sing. So, if we hear chirping of the birds, we would think that they're really happy, but maybe they're not happy all the time. They're indicating something bad is about to happen to our world. Outside cages, birds have a different meaning. The flying bird is the ultimate symbol of freedom. Yes, absolutely. You see a bird open and you see a bird in the cage, your heart would ache looking at the bird in the cage, right? They don't know borders. They need no visas or permissions. Kitna beautiful hai ye line. They just fly. They visit every country they wish to. उनका जहाँ मन करता है वो वहाँ land करते हैं. Who has been leading bird watching? Who has been leading bird watching tours in leave for refugees from his country's shattered cities? In the Guardian. Okay. In the times of trauma, the return of birds. In this case, the stork has always brought hope. देखो यहाँ, we talked about canary. We talked about, ध्यान देना everyone here. We talked about canary. We talked about storks. And we talked about swifts. We're talking of three different kinds. And then we talked about cuckoo as well. And then I give you the example of sparrows as well. Is the author trying to bring us to a bigger picture by using the examples of stork and canary and other specific species of birds? Or is he merely saying that the stork is a bird that's endangered and canary is a bird that's endangered? Is there a bigger picture that he's trying to show here? Answer this question, everyone. रोहन, हम वीक में 3 बार मिलते हैं जब मैं न्यूज़पेपर्स और एडिटोरियल्स में से इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल्स लेके आती हूं जो शायद आप नहीं पढ़ेंगे लेकिन आपको पढ़ने चाहिए, जो आपकी रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन स्किल्स को इंप्रूव करेंगे, आपकी स्किमिंग स्कैनिंग स्किल्स को इंप्रूव करेंगे, आपकी जीके को इंप्रूव करेंगे. व्हाट इज द बिगर आइडिया एवरीवन? व्हाट इज द बिगर आइडिया? कैन यू गेस इट? एंटिसिपेट. He is not particularly referring to these birds only. No? Canary, stork, these are merely metaphors here. They're used metaphorically. Yes. Okay. These birds are only metaphors. Flying birds एक अलग चीज बताती है, stork एक अलग चीज बताता है, caged birds एक अलग चीज बताते हैं. All of these are messengers. Very good, Belinda. Very good. They are messengers. If there's a bird in a cage, it has a different message. If there's a bird flying free, it has a different message. If a bird arrives late, it has a different message. If it is a stork, it has a different message. All of them act like indicators about planet, about emotions, about nature, a lot of things. ठीक है? So, a caged bird shows a very negative side. An open bird shows freedom. A stork brings in hope. A stork is related to hope because there was a story in the Bible, in the Old Testament, that, and then we had a dove that showed Noah was not lost by carrying an olive branch on. आपने ये picture देखी होगी, I'm sure many times. A dove carrying an olive branch, twig rather. I'm sure you've seen a white dove flying with carrying the olive branch in its beaks. Very popular picture. That shows the hope is there. Everything is not lost. All of these are messengers. in different situations. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं. मैसेज है क्या? अभी भी एनवायरनमेंट के बारे में बहुत स्ट्रिक्टली बोला नहीं ऑथर ने. Let's stick to it. Okay, here, and I think that's the last page. No, second last page. Read the page, because here comes a but, and when there is a but, there is an important point coming in. Read that carefully, everyone. I might have missed it out, Tanu. There were many messages coming in. I'll ask you two questions here. Okay. One, what does this paragraph talk about in one line? In one line. And two, how does this link to the penultimate paragraph? That's my question, Dia. In this para, it is saying that we are not that well knowledgeable about them, even if we think we are. Agreed. The characteristics of birds, okay. This talking how birds have also used their intellect. Yes. Yes. And how does it link to the penultimate paragraph? क्या लिंक है यहाँ उसका पिछले पैराग्राफ्स के साथ में? बिकॉज हम बता रहे हैं कि दे आर मैसेंजर्स, दे टेल अस अबाउट डिफरेंट थिंग्स, डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस. Yes, Shriya, there are many things we do not know about birds. We think we know a lot. Ornithology tells us that we have studied birds a lot, yet we don't know a lot of things. They are rather far more intelligent than we are. Look at that example of the vulture who is perched up on the barbed wire, waiting for an antelope to burst itself up, and then it would feed on it. That's very smart. Yes, it's their evolution. Yes, it's their evolution, correct. That they change according to the situations. And probably very fast. But how does it link to the previous paragraph? Answer this question now. How does it link to the previous paragraph? Yes, Tanya, you're absolutely right. Bird evolution beyond human thinking. How does it link to the previous paragraph, everyone? Avian intelligence and evidence of them being potent messengers. Okay, very good. Others? Extinction of birds. Okay. The intelligence of birds is related to their quality of giving indicators about the surrounding. Yes. How birds have survived and surviving by adapting to the nature even if the disaster is looming. Yes. Their intelligence aiding in them being messengers. Correct. By telling that we aren't even able to understand the functioning of birds and we're talking about saving them from extinctions. Yes, you could say that. Also, that we consider them to be messengers. The times are changing. There's a lot of evolution happening in birds as well. So we need to be trusting them more with the messages that they bring in. Yes, from that era they started to till now how they are adapting. Yes, Absolutely correct. Correct. So it started with where they were, but now they we might think हमको सब पता है birds के बारे में, है ना? We know that the caged birds are a sign of sadness, and open free birds a sign of freedom, and then the dove shows hope. We think we know everything about birds, but we don't know everything about birds. They are far more smart, far more intelligent, and evolution is happening on a very fast pace, which we might not be able to comprehend. That's the relationship between this paragraph and the previous one. Let's move to the next page. अभी तक उनको सेव करने की बात नहीं हुई है पैसेज में. Remember that. Last paragraph. Read this and send me done. Just a minute. Yeah. Done. Now you see only the last two lines said, if they are late, it's worrisome. Could the line waiting for passing on antelopes possibly be shadowing that birds can predict? Yes, yes, they can. And they're getting smarter day by day. They know that they can easily catch a prey, and they know where to find a prey when there's development happening. है ना? You see, only the last two lines talk about how the arrival being delayed is worrisome for us. Only the last two lines throughout the passage. तो पूरे पैसेज में ऑथर बोल क्या रहा है is my question. लास्ट टू लाइन छोड़ के बताया क्या अभी तक? एक लाइन में बताओ. There were 3 pages. Only the last 2 lines spoke about that their delayed arrival is worrisome. What was the purpose of all this story happening in between? Tell me. That's my question, Diya. You've started thinking like me. I'm glad. ओके. कार्तिक थोड़ा डिसएग्री करूंगी आपके आंसर से मैं. ओके. माइग्रेशन, extraordinary qualities. Okay. Like only the last 2 lines says, they say that their arrival is delayed and that's worrisome. But the remaining entire passage, okay, exactly, that's the point. Birds are very, very important. That's what is being portrayed throughout the passage. Their importance is being focused upon, that they're necessary, they're important. And then the conclusion comes, Diya, that since their arrival is delayed, we've seen delayed in arrivals many, many times, this is a bad omen. Okay, so the remaining entire passage spoke about how important they are, how smart they are. They can be harbingers, they can be foretellers, and yet, if their arrival is delayed, it's worrisome for us. Is the entire passage. Okay, the last lines, last 2 lines are conclusions. Yes, Belinda, absolutely correct. These birds are smart, yet they were delayed. How? Maybe we are in danger. Maybe they are harbingers. I hope you get this, everyone. Acha, now before I show you the next passage, did you like my video? I have 83 people live today. I'm blessed, but partially because you did not like my video and share my video. Please do that if you've done that, and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done that. Thank you so much. Let's move. If you have liked and shared and subscribed, let's move to the next article, everyone. Yes, Preeti. Yes, Preeti, correct. Yes, Shri, you're correct. No, Vaishnavi, sarcastic नहीं है बच्चे, बिल्कुल direct language है. No, not sarcastic. But good that you thought that way. I like that you're processing a lot of information. Okay? Okay. Chalo, by the time I show you the next passage, can you guys answer a normal question? So let's make our mood better क्योंकि हम next article बिल्कुल different topic पे करने वाले हैं. Which is one place that you visited where you spotted many birds, many types of birds. You went to a place for bird spotting. Answer that. Tone, answer. Abhi nahi batana tone. Nobody answers tone. Tone is your homework. You have to comment under my video with the tone, okay? We'll do it the other way around. I've already told you the summary. You have to comment under my video with the tone after the class ends. So don't forget to do that, okay? Let's move on. Let's look at the next article. But before that, if you're targeting CLAT 22, batch 3 of the crash course has been launched. जल्दी जल्दी से enroll कर लो. बहुत कम time है आपके पास. अभी भी revision हो जाएगा. Translation. Have you ever read books that are being translated from one language to the other? I'm sure you have. If you read books, I'm sure you have. The zoo? Yuvraj, open spaces jana next time. Yes, Komal, you're right. Only in dreams? कोई बात नहीं गुलशन. You'll travel in a temple. Oh, that's brilliant. चलिए अब मुझे ये बताइए. Have you read books that are being translated? Of course you must have. देखो, there are so many popular authors that don't even write in English. And आपको ये पता भी नहीं होगा कि वो जो books, अच्छा films डब देखिए हैं. चलिए back to the next question. So ये जो books है ना, for example, so there are so many popular writers who don't write in English. You get their books in English, but they're translated. And then there are so many Hindi translations. When you go to a bookstall, आपको हर इंग्लिश बुक की हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन मिलेगी, हर इंडियन ऑथर की. चेतन भगत टू अमीश त्रिपाठी, ये सब ट्रांसलेटेड है. So many of them. Shweta, that's understandable. Yes. So back to the agenda. That is, the books are translated. But then when the Booker Prize is given, should it be given to somebody who has translated the book? It recently was, but is it worth it? There's a lot of debate going on about giving due credits to somebody who has translated. Initially, when books were translated, they were poorly translated with many errors, changing the meaning altogether. And I read an article about George Orwell, and he said there's a lot of translation happening. But then the translation is so bad. George Orwell was miffed. He was supremely angry. He said, translation is crap. You translate my work, you convert it into a crappy, shoddy piece of work. My work is art and you make it disgusting because you change the entire meaning. So he was not really happy with that. Nonetheless, that's his perspective. क्या ट्रांसलेशन करने वाले को ड्यू क्रेडिट देना चाहिए? कितना क्रेडिट देना चाहिए? पहले जो बुक्स ट्रांसलेट होती थी, they were poorly translated. But these days, they are brilliantly translated. The translation work is enormous. It takes up a lot of effort and the outcome is very good. So, yes, Satya Pratap, exactly. Samarth, you can say that. Harry Potter का translation हिंदी वाला पढ़ा, okay? No, Karthik, that's not true these days. They don't lose their essence. मैं आपको समझाती हूँ. पढ़ो ये पेज, send me a done. Done. So simple, pretty simple, that there was an international book prize that may be given to English translation in India, and that's our moment of luxury. That's the best time of our lives, because even translations are receiving Booker prizes. So there was a literary campaign that started off with hashtag translators on the cover. What was the purpose of the campaign? That the cover should also have the translator's name, not only the original writer's name, because the translator also has put in a lot of effort to make your reading pleasurable. Okay, so the petition, which had more than 2,500 signatures till date, states its purpose, that is, for too long we've taken translators for granted. We need to give them their due, and it is thanks to the translators that we have access to world literature, past and present. Hindi mein likha hota so nobody else would be able to read it apart from us Indians. It's available for everyone. Many books were written in Bengali and Tamil, and we're still able to read those because they're translated, and Hindi as well, because they're translated in English. So translators, we've taken them for granted, and now that has to end. They need to be given their due. And that was the reason for the petition. They should be properly recognized, celebrated, and rewarded as well for their beautiful translation. So that was the petition that went on. Following the worldwide call, Pan Macmillan announced in October that the translators will be acknowledged on the book cover. So they said, okay, we're going to write their names on the book cover. Some responses weren't so positive. Ab batao positive kyun nahi hoga responses? Because one reason is that once you translate a book, it's a co-work. Not a single translator does that. Sometimes many people do it. 2 or 3 people. Can you clutter the entire front page with the name of all the people who have translated it? No. So that was one of the reasons of the negative response that was received on the campaign. So they went on the record saying some works are co-translated, and including them all on the front cover would make it look messy. Makes sense. Unsurprisingly, the cover of this, which won 2001 International Booker Prize, doesn't mention the translator. So while things might be looking up, translators still have a long fight against them. He says this word unsurprisingly. Why? Why does he say that? Yes, Satya Pratap, that's a better way to understand it, because हमारी English better होती है हमारी हिंदी से. Not very proud of that, but still. Why is it unsurprising? Yes, Iram, you're right. Why is it unsurprising? Exactly. It's unsurprising because they never get their recognition. So it was unsurprising that it happens a lot of times. It's a very often thing. It's a common practice. And that's why nobody is surprised that the translator's name is not mentioned on the book cover. And that's exactly why the petition is going on. That they need to get their due. It happens often. That's why it's unsurprising. In India, English translation is undergoing a renaissance. Oh yes, for sure. It's going through a renaissance. Not only English, but translation is Amish Tripathi की जो ये Shiva trilogy है ना, I think ये almost सारी regional languages में translate हो गई हैं. I've seen my relatives reading them in Hindi. I've seen the Tamil translation of that, and I think almost all the vernacular languages में ये translate हो चुकी है. So we're going through a renaissance. It's an overhaul. It's a complete changeover that's happening. Gone are the days when translated books meant dull-looking volumes with and they were littered with typos. No, that doesn't happen anymore. Now they have snazzy covers which usually announce the translator's name loudly. Yes, that's a very positive renaissance that's happening. Mini Krishnan, coordinating editor, Tamil Nadu Textbook and Educational Services, says earlier translation was voluntary and a translator went from door to door lugging typescripts. Voluntary, किसी को करना है तो कर लो translate. हम बोल नहीं रहे translate करने के लिए. This does not happen now. You deliberately fight for getting a translation done. There are people asking for it. It's not voluntary now. There are people queuing up to translate your work if it's a popular one. I'm sure Sari Chetan Bhagat ki books be translated honge, the popular ones in India. They were overwhelmingly retired teachers of English literature because they had retired and they had nothing to do, and for the love of their language they agreed to translate. Imagine going door to door lugging typescripts. It's actually very sad looking at this. Over the last 20 years or so, seeing a business opportunity in thousands who emerge with higher education degrees equipped with only English, publishers have come proactive in commissioning and locating translators, seeking advice from regional language bodies, and assembling lists for their home market. That is now people that they have started. There उसके multiple reasons हो सकते हैं. People have started reading more these days. They know the value of reading. And then we have a lot of unemployed people with good English. So there are a lot of publishing houses that are ready to employ them full time for only and only translation work. So many reasons are responsible for the renaissance. All of the reasons here can be inferred. They are hidden through this paragraph. Okay, I hope you understand that. Yes, let's move on with the next paragraph. Translated literature is not only getting global recognition, such as Gitanjali Shri's Tomb of Sand, that was translated, and then it is competing for the International Booker Prize. That's a moment of glory for us. But also national acclaim with awards like the JCB Prize for Literature and other prizes as well. So Penguin Press say Motushi says we live in a multilingual society. For sure, absolutely. I can speak four languages. Yes, clearly, yes, 4 languages. Understand a couple of them more, but not speak. So we live in a multilingual society. I'm sure you can speak 3 languages for sure. And at PRH, we celebrate the rich diversity of language and dialect. And that's why Chetan Bhagat books are translated in every language. Why am I bringing Chetan Bhagat so many times? Because I hate him. Nonetheless, we translate good works as well. है ना? हमने रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर की बुक्स ऑलमोस्ट सब लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसलेटेड देखी है, ऑलमोस्ट सब लैंग्वेजेस में. And culture by making a deliberate effort to give literature from local language the recognition and space that they deserve. Bengali में कोई book लिखी हुई है, कन्नड़ में कोई book लिखी हुई है. I would want to read that. It needs its due recognition. How does it get that? By translation. So translation is at its peak these days, and there is more and more room for South Asian literature to expand into the rest of the world because we have compelling stories to tell. So possibly our literature is going to be as popular as this has become very, very soon. Inshallah, that's going to happen. While we still haven't reached that stage where the translator is almost as famous as the author, certainly, देखो, author का idea है, author की story है. An author will, for a very, very long time, be more famous than the translator. And he should be as well. But translation को कोई credit नहीं देना is not a good idea, is what the author says. Because ultimately, it's the author, main author, whose brainchild is what you're reading, which is translated by somebody else. So certainly the main author will be more popular and will be given more credit than the translator is. They cannot be put at the equal stature always. Can a living be made of translations now? If you ask me, I know of people who make living as translators. They earn money a lot through translation. So can it be a full-time profession as a translator? He says no. He disagrees with that. There are no fixed rates for translators. It's not a better paid job now than before unless the books you are translating has really good commercial perspective. So commercial perspective, you know किस तरह की books का होता है. Commercial perspective है तो translators will get good money. But कोई fixed rates नहीं होती है. When can it help you make a living? Only when you are hired as a full-time employee by a publishing house where you are just translating back to back. That's when you can make a living out of it. But there are really, really few. For example, Wiley does that. It's not a better paid job. And then otherwise, the translator's remuneration is just a function of the advance the novel will fetch and the fiction. So basically a percentage only. In any case, starts off with the smaller ambitions. Most translators hold day jobs as journalists, academics, or writers. Matlab, they don't have a full-time job as translators. It's a part-time job that they do. They're journalists or academicians or writers, and then they get paid additionally for the translations that they do. And that's exactly why he says no, it cannot be a source of earning or a living for you. They don't get adequate payment. Yes. Yes, example is correct, Iram. The manuscripts being translated, all of them. Yes. You did not know that, Belinda? That's actually, and then everybody reads Murakami. Hai na? That's the beauty of it. Not the beauty, rather, that's the sad part about it. So, in fact, I think I have it lying around me, but nobody pays attention to the translator. So let's have a look at the last page. The lack of adequate remuneration might be one of the reasons why huge body of bhasha literature still remains untranslated. अब देखो remuneration नहीं मिलेगा तो we will not translate that. This could have easily been converted into a critical reasoning statement. Read this twice, everyone. Sakhi, I hate him from the core of my heart. Too Bollywoody for me. This could easily be converted into a critical reasoning statement. Did you get the statement, everyone? You guys are pretty miser. Why? What will you do with the likes? Put it in your bank account where it will give you returns? No, right? Then give it to me here. Thank you if you've done that. According to both Sinha and Krishnan, Telugu and Odia are two of the most neglected languages in spite of having a rich body of works. They need translation. But recently we have had a few good translations from Telugu and Odia. So it talks on and on and on about translations and few languages that have not received their due. And translators also take up a project for the love of their language they are translating or as a tribute to the author. And that's exactly why the old books are being picked up and translated, even if they're written in vernacular languages. Author Nisha says, who recently translated R.K. Mehta's Malayalam novel, Khabar, into English, says, I think of it as a privilege to share my enthusiasm for a book I admire with the new audience. This is a reward. So this line and the entire paragraph supports the renaissance that's happening. The renaissance that's is visible. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Diya, Ekta Kapoor writes, masquerading as Chetan Bhagat. So that's exactly why now you know why I hate him. So ultimately, the entire passage focus, I tell you the main idea. Your little homework is commenting under my video about the tone of the author of both the articles. Okay, think about, after the class ends, think about the articles for a few seconds, both the articles, recollect the information and then write the tone. Okay, the gist here is that translators, they don't get their due, though we're witnessing a renaissance, yet we have a long way to go. That's the gist of the passage here. So your homework is to write down the tone of the author under my video in the comment section. You can write that down only after the video ends. So take a few seconds and then comment under my video with the tone of the author. That is all, everyone. Please download our app right now if you haven't done that yet. Samarth, remuneration is not greater than recognition. But कितना recognition पे तुम मुझे बोलोगे समर्थ मैम आप बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हो, आप बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हो, बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हो, आप मुझे बस फ्री में पढ़ाते जाओ पढ़ाते जाओ पढ़ाते जाओ, मैं कितने दिन पढ़ा लूंगी फ्री में, ये बताओ मुझे रिकॉग्निशन मिल जाएगा, मुझे बेस्ट फैकल्टी अवार्ड मिल जाएगा, मैं कितने दिन फ्री में पढ़ा लूंगी. So remuneration will always come either at par or sometimes even more important than translation. Okay? Now, Bhavya, this was from the Hindu. न्यूज़पेपर शेयर नहीं करूंगी बच्चे, बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा, ऑलरेडी 1 hour हो चुका है. Okay? I'll take your questions. Everyone who's targeting 23, I'll start resharing newspapers after this CLAT ends, okay? I'll have to take some questions from people now. So, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Please bear with me. No, Mahi, no. So, let me share the newspaper. देखो newspaper देखने आ जाओ. Don't skip text and context. Give me a second. Sharing today's newspaper. By the time you people can send me questions, okay? देखने आ जाओ newspapers. It's been a while we've done that. Sharing today's newspaper. तब तक questions post करो जल्दी जल्दी, very quickly. E-paper. Here you go. Yes, Tanu, I can. I'm ready. Please send me your questions. Mahi, don't skip text and context. Okay. Only skim. Only skim. This is important. Okay? इसको ध्यान से पढ़ लेना. Yes. Skim through it. Skim. That's a very good one. Interesting. पढ़ लो डिटेल में. चलो एक क्वेश्चन लेते हैं तब तक. क्वेश्चन तो पूछो तनु. अरे क्वेश्चन तो पूछो बेटा. मैम मेरे क्वेश्चन ज्यादा गलत हो रहे हैं. आयुषी बच्चे आपको ना थोड़ा एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा कि क्या रीजन है क्वेश्चन ज्यादा गलत होने का. इट्स अ वेरी ब्रॉड क्वेश्चन. क्या मैं ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस में ज्यादा मार्क करती हूँ? क्या मैंने प्रैक्टिस कम करी है? क्या मैं उतनी प्रैक्टिस कर रही हूँ जितनी नीडेड है? क्या कोई स्पेसिफिक तरह के क्वेश्चन मेरे गलत हो रहे हैं? सॉरी प्रियांशु, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है बच्चा, याद दिलाओ. सो आपको थोड़ा मुझे आयुषी कंक्रीट डेटा देना पड़ेगा. तनु मैम मम्मी पापा खुश हैं मेरे ड्रॉप करने से, तो क्या ड्रॉप करूं? अरे क्लैट दिया नहीं है, पहले ड्रॉप करने की बात कर रहे हो बच्चे. हो जाएगा इस साल, अभी भी टाइम है, मेहनत कर लो. वाई आर यू थिंकिंग अबाउट ड्रॉपिंग ऑलरेडी? हो जाएगा. एटलीस्ट हाफ एन आवर, रादर 1 hour. निकिता, हाफ एन आवर इज लेस, एटलीस्ट 1 hour. जब आप एनालिसिस करते हैं ना, आपको देखो बच्चे, बिना एनालिसिस के सॉल्विंग एनीथिंग इज यूजलेस. मैंने एक क्वेश्चन गलत कर दिया तो मुझे पता होना चाहिए, डूड व्हाई इज दिस रॉन्ग. मुझे उसकी रीजनिंग पता होनी चाहिए. जब तक रीजनिंग पता नहीं होगी ना, आप बेटर नहीं हो सकते. अच्छा, ओ ओके प्रियांशु, गॉट इट. सो ईरम, देन यू हैव टू रीड माइंडफुली, थोड़ा केयरफुली. अभी जैसे हम फर्स्ट आर्टिकल कैसे पढ़ रहे थे, मैं आपसे क्वेश्चंस पूछ रही थी, आपको अपने आप से वो क्वेश्चंस पूछने होते बच्चे. माही 22 दे रहे हो कि 23? Yes, of course, Sharvari. Control your attempts and practice more. निकिता 2 तक चलेगा, 2 से ज्यादा होना नहीं चाहिए। केयरफुली क्वेश्चंस करो, उन पे ज्यादा रिसर्च करने की नीड नहीं है फिर आपको। प्राची, तो डरो मत बस, जस्ट डू एंड डाई और डाई, डाई नहीं, जस्ट डू इट। मेहनत करोगे हो जाएगा, यू जस्ट नीड टू ट्रस्ट योर सेल्फ। बिल्कुल मिलेंगे तानू, मेहनत करोगे टॉप 3 क्यों, टॉप मिलेगा, बैंगलोर मिलेगा। एब्सोल्युटली जयप्रकाश, एब्सोल्युटली, जस्ट स्टिक टू इट। स्टिक टू द टाइमिंग। हर्ष, मल्टीपल फॉर्म्स फिल करके रखो सो दैट यू हैव अ वैरायटी टू चूज फ्रॉम। माही 22 है ना। हाँ, एक्चुअली दिया, इवन आई वांटेड टू से दैट यू आर एट अ गुड पोजीशन माही। आपको बस थोड़ा सा ना क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस करना है कि आपके क्या तरीके के क्वेश्चंस या क्या गलत हो रहा है। यू कैन इजीली रीच 110 इजीली। तनु, प्रैक्टिस 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 प्रैक्टिस। प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर, क्वेश्चन सॉल्विंग एंड रिविजन, इस टाइम पे सिर्फ यही करना है आपको। एवरीवन, दोज हु आर सिटिंग फॉर 22, जो कुछ टाइम से प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, जो क्रैश कोर्स के स्टूडेंट्स नहीं है उनके लिए कह रही हूं, सिर्फ रिविजन एंड प्रैक्टिस, दैट इज ऑल दैट यू हैव टू डू। ओके माही, दैट्स व्हाट यू हैव टू डू। समर तो अच्छे हैं बच्चे, ये तो अच्छा स्कोर है। एक बात सुनो मेरी, मैं ना ये सबको बोलती हूँ और आपको भी बोलती हूँ, किस चीज का फ्रस्ट्रेशन होता है, क्या है, क्यों फ्रस्ट्रेशन हो रहा है? मेहनत कर रहे हो ना, जो होगा इज गोइंग टू बी ग्रेट एंड इट्स गोइंग टू हैपन गुड। जस्ट वर्क हार्ड and give your best. Rest, leave it to the consortium. Okay? You don't have to keep fretting about क्या होगा, ड्रॉप करेंगे कौन सा नहीं, ये टाइम नहीं है वो सबके लिए। हाँ, थोड़ा फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग होगा for droppers because you've been doing it for a lot of time, but since you've been doing it for a lot of time, you need to trust yourself. Don't be disheartened. Okay? Yes, Jayaprakash. Ma'am, in recent mock my correct attempt is 98. That's good, Jayaprakash. That's good. Your accuracy is very good. Yes, Komal. So remember, you just, आपका सिर्फ एक काम है, आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी है और कुछ नहीं करना है। ओके? भूल जाओ फैमिली क्या प्रेशर दे रही है, कौन क्या प्रेशर दे रहा है, भूल जाओ फॉर गुड 1 month, फिर सबका प्रेशर ले लेना। ओके? Forget about any pressure, any frustration that builds in your head. Only focus for the next 1 month that you are going to make this happen. Okay? So now I'm going to wind up the class. अब तो है ज्योति, तो अब कर लो। उस टाइम के लिए हम क्यों फ्रेट कर रहे हैं कि तब नहीं था मुझे नॉलेज, फिर तो मैं सब चीजों को लेके फ्रेट कर सकती हूँ। राइट, आई कैन बी फ्रेटिंग अबाउट एवरीथिंग। Alright, so winding up the class. Have a very good day, everyone. And God bless all of you. Work really hard. Don't be frustrated.